Hey everyone, and welcome to today's episode of the vlog. So today we're planning to get the engine out of the car, and although in this episode we won't get the engine completely out, but it's a bit of a roller coaster episode, as you're about to find out. So anyway, we're going to get straight into this, and after the next session I'm going to tell you about something that happened as we were getting the car or the engine out of the car. So let's crack on and see me taking the car apart, and then I'll come back to you. Okay, so we're back on the car. So today what we're trying to do is we are getting the drive shafts off. So I've started to remove the drive shafts underneath here. Basically these ones are bolted together. I think you can just about see them underneath there. So what we need to do is undo all those spline bolts, and then this side will drop. Then I need to drop the wheel on the other side, which is proving a little bit difficult because I've got it in the air, so I may have to drop the car down. But yeah, that's what we want to do. So we've got two drive shafts to do, and then we've got the prop shaft behind. Once we get that undone, then the exhaust, that's the last thing that we need to detach, and that's not too difficult because there's a bolt there through the middle there that attaches the exhaust, so we can get to that pretty easy, and then that should be it. The engine will then just be held in place with the dog box underneath, the bolts, and the other mount on the other side, and we should be able to get it out. Now, whether we're going to be able to do it all in today's episode, it will just depend how long it takes me to get the drive shafts off. But I've been looking at the Audi manual on how to do it, and I'm working my way through it. But it's going to take a little time because well, it just is. So let's crack on. I'll do that off camera because it's just going to be one long time lapse otherwise, and then we'll show you the end results. Okay, so I had by this point taken the drive shafts out of the car, and I had a chat with a couple of friends, including Rob from Salvage Rebuild. And we were discussing about getting the block repaired. Now, Trickett Motors, they said that they couldn't do it, but I asked them one specific question, which was, could you guarantee the repair? And he said to me, no, he couldn't, not for that type of damage. So I then decided to phone around a few other companies. I actually even spoke to Audi, and or spoke to somebody in Audi, and they recommended a company locally who do their repairs when it comes to block issues. Called them. They said to me they wouldn't touch it. It's still not a job that they could do or would guarantee. And the reason why I started to look at other companies is because even though one or two said that they could do it but they couldn't guarantee, and one actually said they could guarantee it, the fact that I called up about 6 companies and 5 of them said that they couldn't guarantee the work made me start to think about, well, actually maybe this is not the way to go. Now, I only explored this option because there are a number of companies that do repair blocks. In fact, when cylinder jackets break on the block, they can actually repair that. And that's the reason why I wanted to know if this was possible. And only if someone can give me a cast iron guarantee that they could repair it, would I have then pursued it. The alternative was to buy an engine. Now, this car is a 3-year-old car. It's barely 3 years old, which means it's got the latest DJH 310 brake horsepower engine. Now, those engines aren't freely available. You can go and look at the older models and you can find them, but these engines are rare because of the nature, the age of the car. The ones that I did see were around 5k, which is a budget blower. I might as well have bought a decent one for that kind of money if it was going to cost me around 5k. Now, this car is going to be my car. I'm keeping this car. This car is not for sale, so for those of you who think I'm turning this car around for a profit, I'm not. But I would like to bring it in under budget so that we can spend the additional funds on modding the car. But the whole point of this exercise is it's for me to get to know this car inside and out by the fact that I'm building it, so anything that goes wrong I know exactly where it is, and I can also have the experience of putting the car back together, a bit like a massive Lego piece, and this is one huge Lego piece. So the next scene, I'm gonna show you the next scene because I think it's important. It's part of this video, and you'll see that I've now come to the realization that I'm not going to be able to repair this block, knowing that I done some research before I bought this car. So yes, even though I bought this car blind, I knew that I always put together a budget, and I put the worst case scenario, and buying a new engine was part of my worst case scenario. So I knew that it was going to be expensive. So anyway, let's watch the video, continue on, then you'll see what happens next. Okay guys, so we've made a decision. We've come to the end of the road on this car. I know this sounds quite shocking, but we've been phoning around and looking at these mounts here. This is the main issue here. These two here, this one here and this one here, because of the damage that they have. Most of the companies that I've been speaking to, the one that I had organized for this to be repaired, they've actually said to me that they can't guarantee the repair. And the few that I've also been speaking to have also said the same. They said that, look, you know, it's a cast iron block, we can repair it, but it's not going to be that strong. So I've made a choice that I'm actually going to sell the car. I'm not going to continue. I'm going to throw money at this car, and for me not to be able to get it, which is a real shame because I'm not a quitter. But in view of the damage on these mounts, it will be financial suicide to do this up. I might as well just go out and buy one, and you know, in decent spec. So it's a real shame, but I'm going to put this car on Copart and sell it off, and then let someone else deal with it. Maybe they can break it up for spares. So I will put all the bits on pieces that have come with the car back on. But yeah, I'm not going to take the risks. I'm going to put out what I can. So I will take a loss on this potentially. But you know how Copart bidding goes. So people might be interested in it because it's not a categorized car. It doesn't have a category, any categorization on this car at all. So it may get more money than what it originally got, but my job now is to put the bits and pieces that I've taken off back on the vehicle. I have bought a couple of pieces, nothing really major. I bought a new front, etc. So I may just put that back on, and I bought a wing, and I'll put that on there as well, just to add value to the vehicle. And all the bits that I've taken off, I'll stick in the boot for the new owner to take. The only thing I'm not going to put into the back of the car is I bought a new dashboard for the car. I'm going to try and sell that privately on eBay. So yeah, it's a real shame because I really did want to do this car, but I've got to, you know, I bought this car without looking at it, and that was a bad buy. And if just the engine mounts, it is just the engine mounts where the issue is. And you know, so far everyone has come back and said no, don't do it. And to get a block for this and to take this apart, you're just looking at so much work. It's just, you know, and then there's a reliability issues as well, because these cars are put together, they're precision engines, and they're put together by guys who do this day in, day out. And I'll be doing this on a weekend, so by the time I get this on the road, it's going to be some time. So unfortunately guys, we're going to end the project. So S3 project never really got started, unfortunately, but it is what it is. Okay, so I called Copart. Copart take all the details for the car. They're about to come and collect the car. Well, they're not about to come and collect the car, they are about to arrange to come and collect the car. Then they do a HPI check on the car, and the car comes back with a security alert on there. So they say to me, look, you know, you need to find out what the security alert, but until you find that out, we cannot collect the car. Now, we'll come on to what the security alert was in a later episode, but long story short, it was to do with the fact that when the car was purchased, the person, whoever purchased the car, only had it for a short period of time, had it on finance. Whatever happened, and I don't understand what happened in terms of the damage on the vehicle, but anyway, the finance company repossessed the car, not the insurance company. Insurance company weren't involved. So this car has no category. It's not a category C. It has no categorization on it. It is clean except for this security record, and the reason why they did that was because the person was refusing to give them back the car, so they put it out as stolen. Anyway, that's all been cleared now, so the car is clean. So yeah, so that actually saved me, because I was about to pay. Once you pay out, I could have cancelled it, to be fair, but I would have lost some money, which never goes down well. And I had a last minute look on eBay, and all of a sudden 2 engines came up for a fraction of the price that I'd seen when I was actually researching the car back in early December. And the original engines that I saw for $5 grand, $6 grand, they were still there, but these 2 engines came up for literally a third of the price. So I rang up, found out that they were legit, got the engine numbers and everything on them. They sent me videos of the engine running before they were extracted for the car, so I knew the car had a decent engine that were running, and they were from later models. So as you can imagine, really elated. So I arranged to purchase one, negotiated the price, and managed to secure one. Now there's a little story about the engine that I secured, but we'll come on to that in a future episode. But anyway, good news was that we no longer needed to sell the car. We secured an engine. It was still going to make us come in within budget, because to get the repair done on the vehicle when I was originally going to get the mounds done was going to cost a few £100 plus parts, etc. So these are coming in, the engines are coming in, you know, more expensive, but I'm much more confident, much more happier to put a complete engine that is working than to put an engine in a car like that with 310 brake horsepower with mounts that have been welded on. So again, let's get back to the video. Look at that, in the space of an hour, how things have changed. So I was going to get rid of this car, had Copart coming down to come collect it, and then I found 2 engines, 2 identical engines for this car, one from a 2017 car, one from an even newer car with only 26,000 miles, for really cheap money. Both of them legitimate garages, so it's not a hooky motor, don't you worry. It's a legitimate business from salvage cars that have been hit in the back. So I'm going to be picking up some parts for it, but the main thing is it's going to be picking up a new heart, a new engine. So I'm very pleased with that, which means the S3 build is back on. So we now need to continue getting this engine out of the car, and then we're going to strip it down with all the ancillaries for the new engine that's going to come in and fit. So the build is back on, boys. Okay guys, progress. We have just bought ourselves a new engine, which I'm really happy with, and that's going to be on its way here. So now engine extraction is now truly underway. We have our hoist in place that's holding up the engine for us, because before we take the engine out we need to take off the prop shaft from behind. But to do that we need to first of all drop down the subframe. So at the moment you see this jack here is holding up the subframe. We've done this before in the Fiat Leon, if you recall, and if you look up now you'll see a card for the Fiat Leon. And on the S3 it is exactly the same procedure. So the first thing that we have to do is we have to undo the steering rack so that we can drop that down. So what you need to do on this is you need to set the steering wheel to dead center. So that is dead center there, and then after what we then do is down below here, just behind, you can just see, hopefully, a nut. So this nut here, it's a 10mm nut. We just need to undo that. That will release the steering rack, and then that will allow us it to drop down. And then the fitting is an exact reverse of the installation. So you can see the nut just there, just under the shadow of the light. So we're just going to drop that down. That will undo it, and then we can take the steering rack out. So let's go and do that now.
1 hour later.
Okay, steering rack is now off, as you can see here. So it's now separated, which means we can go to the next stage, which is to drop the subframe. We're going to do that right now. Okay, so there you go, one steering rack all intact with subframe in situ. So you can see the subframe there. We're in a good place. So I'm going to store that somewhere safely out the way, because that won't be going in for a little while. And then once we get that stored, I'm going to put the nuts or the bolts back in place so that I know exactly what bolt goes where when it comes to reassembly. Okay, so we're going to stop the video there. We're going to continue with the extraction next week. Otherwise, this will be an epic movie rather than a 10 to 15 minute weekly vlog. So tune in on Wednesday, where you're going to see me part 2 of this, where we take the engine out, and I'm going to actually show you the engine that we finally bought, because the 2 that I secure, I was literally on the verge of buying one engine, and then I didn't, because something else came up. And I'm so happy with the actual engine that we got in the end. But more of that, not Wednesday, the following Monday, because this is going to be very good, and I think you are going to actually see the reason why I've done that. So anyway guys, thank you for viewing this. If you're viewing this for the first time, don't forget to subscribe. Yes, click on that subscribe button, because there is plenty more of this and probably more drama to come with this car build as it is. But we're back on, we are fully committed to getting this car back on the road. No doubt we'll have some other issues, but we'll get through it as we always do. So anyway guys, hope you've enjoyed this episode. Have a good week. We will see you on Thursday. Oh, sorry, one more thing. Our merch store, we've got now have a new merch store which is now live, and we've got a load of different tops on there, about 21 different items in there, including a new S3 top that we released just for this project, and we're going to have one for in the bath soon as well. So if you want to support the channel, go ahead and purchase some t-shirts and some jumpers and some hoodies. We've got hoodies on there as well, and some mugs as well. So link is down below. Click on the link and then go and support your channel. So thank you. We will see you on Thursday.